celebration, that we can look back at the achievements and accomplishments of women all around the world, both locally and globally, in sport, in life, in their jobs, and things like that. So it's a really brilliant day just to acknowledge the achievements of women all around the world.
So for International Women's Day, I guess for me, International Women's Day is really important to acknowledge and kind of say thank you to all of the women who have gone before us to create the opportunities that we have to live out our dreams. So the people that have fought and earned the rights for us in terms of being able to play sport at a high level, get our education and things like that. So it's a big opportunity to acknowledge their work and hopefully for us to strive to keep doing that and get better opportunities for you guys by the time you get to our stage.
What does International Women's Day mean to me? It means so much to me to see all women coming together, empowering one another. I just think it's an amazing thing to have.
What does International Women's Day mean to me? Well, I have to say that I think it is a huge celebration of everything that women have done throughout history and everything that women are doing in the modern world as well, because there are so many fantastic women out there, starting right at home with the mummies and the sisters and the aunties and the daughters, and I'm sure some of your teachers are probably women as well, and some of your sports coaches. So there's just women everywhere doing fantastic things. And of course there are women making history as well. We just have to look around and see in America, Kamala Harris being the Vice President of America. We've seen so many of our athletes doing brilliant things, fantastic role models, and just women in general, in politics and in sport and in business. There are women everywhere now making their mark and doing amazing things and just not listening when anyone tells them that they can't do it. They're getting out there and doing whatever they want.
What does International Women's Day mean to me? What I think is it's a great opportunity for us to appreciate and learn about all the fantastic things that different women have done in Ireland and also across the world. And particularly for me, I think it's great to acknowledge the people that are close to us, in our family members, our schools, maybe our coaches at home, and all those people that make our lives a better place.
International Women's Day gives us the opportunity to celebrate women all around the world and in all walks of life, but in particular women in sport, and to recognise the great sporting achievements. In particular here in Ireland, and to raise coverage and awareness of the game.
What does International Women's Day mean to you? So I think it's really important that we recognise women across the universe for all the great work that they do. It's teacher, nurse, whereas in sport, someone like Katie Taylor, I think it's really important that we recognise them. So this day means an awful lot to me.
What does International Women's Day mean to me? It means celebrating women of all sorts, of all backgrounds, and I suppose inspiring them to be better and to get into jobs they mightn't think they're able for, and to inspire them to challenge themselves. And I suppose this year International Women's Day's theme is choose to challenge. So challenge themselves that they are able for anything, they're able for any role, and to challenge other people to believe that as well.
Is Múnthor Man Sculame. I'm a secondary school teacher, so where you'll be going on to next after primary school. Is Múnthor Mata agus Gaeilge. I teach maths and Irish, so I wonder, one of your favourite subjects?
So at home in Cork in Ireland, I am a teacher. I'm a secondary school teacher and I teach PE and maths. I absolutely love it. It was something I suppose I always really wanted to do. When I was in primary school and secondary school, I absolutely loved sport, so I knew I wanted to be involved in sport in some capacity. So PE teaching fit the mould. I do like maths. I especially like teaching maths because while I might not have been the top of my class in maths when I was in school, I always worked really hard, and I think now that I'm a teacher, I like breaking down maths and making it really simple for people to understand. And I love when I see people getting success in it, because I think everyone can get success in maths in some capacity, and I love when that happens in my classes.
So my role models growing up, well, I guess the main ones were those closest to home, my mum and dad. Yes, I grew up in a house where, gender roles weren't really clear cut. So my mum made sure I was allowed to do woodwork in school, and she always made sure my brothers did the washing up. So from a young age, I didn't really see that there was boys and girls roles. My dad was believed in hard work, which has stood to me, and he also played hurling with Galway, which I thought was class at the time, and I suppose made me fall in love with Gaelic games and with hurling. My biggest role model, I suppose, from sport, well, there was a girl in my school. She won an All-Ireland with Galway, their first Camogie All-Ireland in 1996, Veronica Curtin. You know, that hero that you're a little bit awestruck and starstruck by, so it was cool to have one of them too. When I was 9, Mary Robinson became President of Ireland, the first woman president, so I suppose a little bit maybe naive, but at that time when I was young I just felt maybe I could be anything I wanted to be. It's not always as simple as that, but it was a nice start.
A couple of my inspirations, probably one in particular when I was growing up, was Martina Navratilova. I'm sure none of you know of her, but she was just a real cool, very successful tennis player. She was on par with John McEnroe, wore a cool headband, and what I loved about her was she wasn't afraid to be herself, both on and off the court, and she just was so memorable as I was growing up, and I always was like, I just think she's brilliant and I want to be like her one day.
My inspirations are probably Niamh Briggs and Ciara Griffin, just because they're two players that I've looked up to since I was a kid. Luckily I've been able to call them teammates over the last few years, and I've learned so much from them on and off the pitch, and they're such good leaders.
So my role models would be my two parents and my nanny, because things aren't always easy for everybody and their families, but they continue to support us really, really well, look after their children. And you know, you don't always have to have the most amount of money or the coolest toys or the nicest clothes. You can always be happy with what you have, and that's what my parents have taught me, and so is my nanny. She is the strongest woman I know.
My inspirations, both growing up and still to this day, are my mother Kathleen, Cora Staunton and Katie Taylor. All women that I have huge admiration and respect for. These women motivate me every day, both on and off the field, to be the best that I can be and to keep striving to be better.
Role models growing up would have been the Gilton Allen sisters in Mungret. The three sisters, Olivia, Martina and Rosie, would have played for Limerick for many years and had many really successful achievements, including playing with the Underdogs team back in 2004, 5 and 6, and I was able to see them in the Green and White magazines and follow their success.
My role model growing up was Catherine Loughlin. She was a great camogie player who played camogie for Clare, and she was the first Clare woman to win a camogie All-Star. She played camogie for my local club, so I would always have supported her growing up.
Who are my role models would be the likes of Fiona Coughlin. She used to play for Ireland, rugby, women's rugby. She's a good friend of mine, and she'd be my role model because of her leadership skills and because of her approach when it comes to her teammates and how she motivates them and how she performs. Katie Taylor, do you know Katie Taylor, the boxer? I think what she's achieved is just unbelievable, and I think she should get more recognition for it.
My inspirations playing rugby growing up would have been Fiona Coughlin, people like Joy Neville and Mairead Kelly. And it's always important to follow your dreams, because that time is going to pass anyway, regardless if you do it or not. You may as well be doing something you love, trying to reach your dreams.
My biggest achievements, I suppose, would have to be in sport. I have 2 All-Ireland medals. I won an All-Ireland in 2013 and in 2019. And I suppose in 2013 I was a bit younger, and I thought that maybe this would happen every year, but then little did I know I'd have to wait 6 years again to win a second one. All the hard work that you put into training, when it finally pays off, when you win an All-Ireland, that's what you've been training for, it's just really special.
My greatest achievements to date would be captaining Roscommon 2 years in a row, and also winning 2 Connacht titles in those same years.
Our greatest achievements?
This year's All-Ireland final. It was just the absolute best day, and especially because
COVID was such a strange year. I'm sure you know what COVID is. It just made it extra special because we didn't know if we were going to be able to actually play, and we didn't know if we'd be able to take part this year. So just to actually go out and win it was just amazing.
In December in Croke Park, I don't think we'll ever do that again.
Strange.
So it was absolutely brilliant.
It was a once in a lifetime, I think.
Yeah.
what my greatest achievement is, well, I suppose in a lot of ways my job. You know, my title is a sports broadcaster in RTE and an author of Girls Play 2, obviously, but I guess it's making the dream come true. I always wanted to do this job when I was your age. It's all I ever dreamed about. I really wanted to go to matches and be the one to get to present it and to show it to so many people across the world. So for me, my greatest achievement is just following through with my dreams and getting to do what I always wanted to do.
My biggest achievement was playing with Limerick in 2017 when we beat Cork in the Munster final. And your principal, Mr. Toohey, was actually our manager on the day, so big hello to Mr. Toohey if he's watching this. I also have 2 Ashburn Cup medals with UL, which are really special to me also.